You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Dominion After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Dominion After Show.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Dominion here at AfterBuzz TV. We're talking episode 107, Ouroboros. I think I mispronounced that, but we're talking about it anyway. We got a crazy episode tonight. We got an ancient look at Michael, aka the Flood. Ooh. That's what I'm just calling from now on. Yeah. He's just the Flood. That's like his wrestler name, the Flood. We got Gabriel finding his way into Vega. There's murder afoot, lots of angel murder. Alex is trying to evict people with magical exorcism powers.
And the saddest murder of all.
I'm still crying inside. Yeah. I'm still crying inside.
Keep it on the inside.
We're all crying inside.
So much to talk about, but I'm very excited to welcome. We're going to be having a guest on the show.
Yeah.
Via phone.
Via phone. Very excited. Anton, the man who played Furiad, will be joining us in just a few minutes. So, guys, just first reactions to this episode. What did you think, overall?
I actually like this episode. I think it was a real improvement from last week. I think it got us a really nice look at who everyone is, and we got a surprise. A big old surprise that I loved, and some hot scenes.
Yeah. Yes. But you know what I forgot? I got so excited about this episode.
Who are you people?
Yeah.
I'm your host, Zach Wilson, the guy who's just like super excited about ancient Michael stuff going on. Next to me, I'm
Yael Tygiel, the one who's super excited about the hot Noma stuff going on.
There's nothing like some hot. Well, we will get into the spoiler later.
And I'm Liz Rishmawy.
What are you excited about?
Everything.
Can't beat everything. I'm Tauri Miller. I'm excited about sweet, sweet lion time.
Aww.
Yeah.
He just likes to make us sad.
It's rude.
Yeah.
Poor lion.
I'm gonna go home and snuggle with my cat after this.
But yeah, Yael, I agree. I think tonight's episode was far better than last week. We got more of like a story, like an arc of a story going on. There's evil afoot. There's intriguing drama between characters that we're getting between, because we're finally seeing Gabriel's side a little bit, and I think that's really interesting because we could see why someone might be drawn to his side finally.
And also, we're gonna get into it more later when we're doing the actual recap, but I found it so interesting. You know, we see this evil side of Michael that we'll be getting into, but we also see a side to Gabriel that you didn't think existed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's the good guy or something.
What about you, Tauri? What did you think?
I liked a lot of it. Like I did enjoy the murder mystery part. I liked that we got to see a lot more of Michael's emotion. Like when we started, he was very stoic, even keeled.
Killed. They killed him.
But now you get to see him kind of being a rage monster, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting stuff going on. So, we open up on the Babylonian desert, 1900 BC, 4,000 years ago. Wait. Yes.
Wait, that was just so great with the
time
math.
I can do basic math. It was about 3,900 years ago.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay. So that whole reverse thing with the BC and then that A D.
But either way, we get Michael walking through in the desert with his like big sword. He's got hair, like a lot of it,
Dude.
which was I just hear like a grandpa talking. That was the style at the time.
It looked silly.
You also missed the entire massive sea of a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
people.
Why did I miss it? I was just
Body
focused on
parts.
Michael.
Yeah.
Right.
I honestly want to know, though, if you slaughtered everybody with a sword, why are there, like, dismembered body parts that look like they were blown off people?
Because that's how hard he strikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Like he could have punched them off.
And maybe maybe he used his razor sharp angel wings a couple times because
Right.
they were all coming at him at once. He's just like,
yeah.
I see that I can slice you. And you know, guys, you know who else is really good with a sword?
Who else is really good with this?
Who
stuff?
has
Our
sliceable
guest,
wings.
Anton Jeftha? I apologize, Anton, but welcome to the after show.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey.
So thank you so much for joining us. I know it's very early because you're in South Africa. Is that correct?
That's right. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa.
Yeah, which is
About
where.
7:25 a.m.
Good
So
morning.
good evening to you.
And well, thank you so much. I know we all can sympathize with having to wake up so early.
No worries.
But so the last time we just want to talk to you a little bit about your experience working on the show because it filming so far away is always very interesting on location. This is the first mainstream TV show I think that I've seen that's shot in South Africa, especially entirely. How did you wind up? How did the audition process go? How did you wind up working on the show?
Well, they went auditioning throughout South Africa for the roles that they saw some South Africans could fill. And then like everybody else, I just auditioned over here in Cape Town. I spoke to Vaughn afterwards. He just said that I sort of suited the look for Furiad immediately when he saw me on the audition tape, which is a nice thing. I hope my acting had a bit of something to do with it as well. But yeah, it was such an awesome thing just to get that call afterwards to say that I got the part for Furiad. I remember the day. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's it's always a fun call to get. Like, hey, yeah, you know that thing you really, really wanted? So after you got the part...
That air punch moment, you know?
So after you got the part, what kind of research did you do to get ready for this? Because I know, I don't believe Furiad is actually in the Bible listed as an angel. So what did you do to prepare for the role?
Yeah, well, Scott Stewart, the director, he was kind of pedantic and very precise about what he wanted, so which made the process for me much easier. I mean, from the get-go, when he met me, explained to me that he wanted, for example, Furiad to be quite slick and his movements had to be quite fluid. So I think the biggest challenge for me was getting in shape in that way. Like, I think being able to get that movement that they required for Furiad to look as Vaughn always like to say, badass as possible. So yeah, there was a lot of choreography involved, a lot of research into how to working with a sword, for example, because I hadn't worked with a sword before in my life. I don't think a lot of people has.
That's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that was probably the biggest challenge for me, the research on how to fight and how to do some sword work. And
well, it definitely looked natural. You looked like you'd been doing it for about 3,000 years.
Yeah.
So,
How many?
Thank you so much.
How long did you get to train with the sword fights and stuff? Like, how many actual weeks or time span did you take to do that kind of choreography training? Because it looked very, like we said, it looked like you've been doing it for a while. I wonder how much time they actually gave you from when you got the role and when they started filming.
Yeah, we had time constraints was actually quite. Yeah, the pressure was on because thinking back, I think it was about 3 weeks to a month before the epic fight scene, like the one that you see in the pilot between myself and Michael, which I think was sort of quite a showstopper.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And so, what was that process?
That one was quite. That was myself and Tom had to be in rehearsals quite a few times a week and get together and practice. And again, we had such an amazing stunts team who helped us through the whole process. So it became more of a dance than anything else after like a few wooden swords to the head and yeah, so it was quite cool.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
imagine you learn quickly when somebody's swinging a metal blade at you.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of have to, otherwise you get, like I did once or twice, bumped and knocked in the head with a sword. Yeah, but it was fun.
So the last time we saw Furiad, he was basically getting reprimanded for the fight scene because he stabbed Michael and then broke the sword and left. Is Furiad coming back at all? I know we liked him as a character, but we're not sure quite where he went.
Yeah, I mean, we have this thing about trying to stay clear from being spoilers, you know? Like, I have to tell everybody, just like, yeah, keep a lookout, keep watching out, keep your eyes in the heavens, Furiad may return.
Awesome.
But, yeah, Furiad, I mean, on that, just to hit a bit more on that point, he's quite resolute and, like, while he is on Gabriel's side, he's also quite a bit of an individualist, you know, like, strong-minded and headstrong, so...
Yeah, and
he just going out. He felt a bit that almost bored of Gabriel's tedious methods to this extermination process of mankind. So he took it upon himself to go and fight Michael. And that's when also you guys got a first glimpse into Gabriel's love-hate relationship for Michael. While he wants to exterminate or get the process going, he ends up reprimanding Furiad for, in fact, stabbing Michael, which is quite peculiar.
Yeah. So when you took over the part, what kind of backstory in your mind does Furiad have? Like before this war, like before 25 years ago, what was he doing? Did he want a war, or is he just sort of along for the ride?
Yeah, like I said, Furiad's quite a hothead. Like I assume that he'd probably been a general of the armies in the heavens.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably been the general of the army, whereas Gabriel and Michael had probably been seen as, well, obviously soldiers as well, but more as royalty, you know. And yeah, he definitely has a hate for mankind, for sure. And yeah.
Well, it sounds great. I mean, it's especially great to get like your take on the character because we only got a limited amount of time with him, and he's one of those characters that we can tell there's so much more to learn about.
He's one of those characters that even though we haven't seen as much of him as the other characters, we really like him, which is why we're kind of like, oh, tell us, because I really want to see more of him. He's one of the most fascinating characters that I liked automatically as soon as he appeared on the show. So I do hope that we get to see more of you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been totally blown away and overwhelmed by the response I've been getting from those who have been following Dominion. It's totally exceeded my expectation.
The show has absolutely developed a rabid fan base.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions for Anton?
Well, as of right now, since the filming, I think it'll probably be a while before they start shooting for season 2.
They're still waiting to hear about season.
Yeah.
Hashtag renew Dominion.
Yes, but
yeah, we just fingers crossed for renewal. You know?
But do you have any projects that you're working on in between Dominion that you'd want to pitch out to us that we can maybe keep a lookout for you?
At the moment, I'm involved in a theater production over here in Cape Town. It's our Women's Festival next week. So I've been doing a bit of theater and traveling around with that.
Oh.
But I also do a bit of like voice work and involved with some local commercial and infomercial work in Cape Town over here. But I'd actually like to get out to LA soon, to be honest with you.
And
I might head out there before November this year for a couple of weeks.
Ah.
And you'll come on the show.
And you'll come on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Live.
Well, Anton, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been great getting to know you and your take of the character. If the listeners want to keep up with you, do you have a Twitter or anywhere that they can follow you?
Yeah, you're very welcome, firstly. And everybody you can follow me on it's at KingDavid_18.
Great.
All right, great. So we'll so at KingDavid_18. Guys, if you want to follow him. Anton, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic. And we look forward to maybe getting Furiad back. And some more, as I like to get excited about, winged combat.
Thank you so much, guys. It was so good to be on the show. And yeah, sleep tight.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh.
All right, that was fun.
Yeah.
Like because it's, like we said, we don't get a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a rich backstory to characters like that, especially the not real angels that like don't have a constructed one.
I just want to hear him talk more. Just do voiceover work. I'm like, tell me more where I can hear your voiceover work.
Go to Cape Town and listen to commercials.
Right? Just tell me.
But yeah, there's a lot of the ancient angels that we don't have a lot of, but we who we do see a little bit of in this is some angels that do have a familiar backstory. Uriel and Gabriel. We get all three of them back in this episode, run around doing their thing. Gabriel has found his way into Vega by possessing a higher angel,
which surprises everyone.
Yeah, because nobody thought that was possible. I guess they never really established that as a rule.
Well,
but I guess
this episode they did.
Yeah.
This episode, Uriel even says no, he can't do that.
He's not strong enough.
Right. But apparently.
But it's not to say that it's impossible. It just says one person has to be very strong to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I thought it was very interesting. The Ankit, little pig, let me in. I'm like, really?
Yeah, he really doesn't. He really doesn't like Lewis.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he's very familiar with the stories that the humans know because little pig, let me in, and the Noah and the flood. He just seems very like he's been like really paying attention to the humans even before the war.
Yeah, it was a big we're seeing his side of it for the first time. So we're seeing that he's not just the bad guy. Because up till now, we know that he has, he's not a terrible guy. He still loves his brother and stuff.
Right.
But he hasn't given us anything that suggests that we should want him to succeed at all. And in this episode, we're finally getting that. We're getting him protecting a little boy from getting his head sliced off by Michael. We're getting him pointing out that, Michael did some really dark stuff.
Yeah.
Which actually Tom Wisdom talked a little bit about at the panel last week. He was saying that they were going to get to see some of Michael's dark side. And that's absolutely what we got. So Gabriel is in Vega and just murdering people now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, specifically the higher angels that are hiding among.
Well, yes.
The neutrals that haven't chosen a side.
Yes.
Because they're not people.
You're either with me or you're against me.
Yeah. Do you guys think it's okay to be neutral in a war between basically the heads of your people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of a silly question is that?
Well, and I think someone said it at some point that it's not a war that they chose. It would be the equivalent of you and Yael starting a war, and me and Liz deciding not to partake.
But wait, what's their war about? Because this is important. I feel like I need to know what the causes are. Because I might take a side.
Let's be honest, you'd both take my side.
Maybe.
Look, if you're gonna live in my city, you're gonna fight on my side.
Well, and that also is kind of touched upon in that in living amongst the Vegans.
That's a terrible name.
The Vega
Stick with black
occupants.
Yeah.
They have essentially chosen a side, they claim to be neutral. It's more Michael neutral.
Well, I agree and I disagree. It's just that Gabriel really doesn't have again, he doesn't believe in neutrality. So even if they didn't care, it's Michael's the only person that's really giving the option to be here, live in peace among people. Because it was mentioned in the last episode, there's kind of a nothingness thing going on. People either have a choice whether to join or become part of the earth and partake in living on it, or there's just nothingness. So these angels who have bodies because they're higher angels, decide to live and they just want to live peacefully because for as long as we know right now, there is no heaven is closed. You know, like nobody's just kind of hanging up on there, you know, playing like elimination or something.
Right.
So I was trying to think of ultimate frisbee. That's what I wanted to say.
But I would argue that they have as far as we know, they have 2 other places that they can live essentially unhindered.
Undetected.
Because they have bodies and they can't be detected by the sensors. And so, but they actively chose to live where Michael is residing.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of protecting them.
Yeah. I
Not
mean,
very well.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is that when we find out who was killed, it was the medic, the banker, and engineer.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they're just doing
stuff.
Just human jobs, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think they chose to be neutral, and I think that even though they're living in Vega under Michael, they are neutral.
Yeah, because remember, again, this war, for as silly as any cause is, it's just basically like God pieced out, and now, you know, you have these 2, the highest of high angels, arguing about what to do and like kill all, you know, one's like Bender, kill all humans. The other one's just kind of like, no, leave them be. And it's like, at this point, you know, the other angels are just sitting there like, well, what, why do we have to, what's going on? Like, where's God? What do we do? So it's like, it kind of seems like a silly point. There was nothing, it wasn't like in the movie Legion where God was like, kill all humans. So there's no point. It's just these 2, you know, higher ups basically arguing over something.
Right.
So there's no real point, you know?
No, God's the parents who he was just like, look, if you kids don't quiet down, I'm going to go to Disney World without you.
Yeah.
And he did it. He pulled the trigger. He was like, you guys are staying home. I'm leaving.
That'd be hysterical. Someone just like flashes forward out of Vegas and like goes to Disneyland, and there's just like this one ride going.
Well, what I find interesting is bringing it back to Legion is when we see at the end Michael and Gabriel and Uriel with all the dead bodies, and Michael says that he was doing what he was told. He was following orders, which is so interesting for anyone who's seen Legion, because in Legion the plot is that Gabriel comes down to kill all the humans because that's what he was told to do.
Right.
They flipped it.
Yes.
Well, that's what he said. And I mean, as Vaughn explained to us, that Legion is not canon per
Right.
se.
No, I know.
But what I'm saying, I'm sort of, my take on Legion at this point is that Gabriel, when God went missing, he basically decided like, well, this must, if I have to decide, I have to make my decision now. God must want to wipe out people if he left. I think it was his decision.
He's sick of his creation.
And not God. I think it was the fact that God went missing.
Right.
Yeah, no one's arguing that.
Yeah, no, I disagree that Gabriel thought, well, God must have wanted this, and that's why he left. I disagree. I think God left for a different reason completely.
Yeah, I think basically it's like a little kid thinking he can get away with something now that mommy and daddy aren't around.
But Gabriel has stated that he believes that if he kills all the humans, God will come back. In the meeting on the cliff, those were his words.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Yeah, so that's something. I mean, what do you guys think could cause that shift for Gabriel to go from, as we saw at the end of the ancient Babylonian scene, he was protecting humanity, saying like, why are you doing this, Michael?
Well, I think whatever the switch is, it switched both of them, and I think it's Uriel.
Well, I also want to say too,
Wait.
not for nothing, but a lot of things can happen in, like, what would we say, 3,900 years?
Oh yeah, well, I'm asking, what do you guys think? What event could have caused them to switch sides like this?
I mean, well, 1900 BC, humanity hasn't been around that much, so he hasn't had time to like hate them. Right, that much in like angel years, okay?
Sorry.
Like they're like what? Oh, you just have Revelation.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
What happened between Noah and now? Jesus. That's what switched everything.
No Jesus.
No, I think honestly,
If there's Noah, there's Jesus.
I just think because he said no.
I
See
got
what I
it.
did? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But no, what I was gonna say is I just think again, it's just years and years of overpopulation, humanity becoming more, hateful and damaging everything. Like, look at the world, look at all the bad points of the world and what humanity causes, what humanity destroys, all the negative things, you know, after thousands and thousands of years of humanity just basically becoming this thing that is way far from perfect of whatever the creation was originally supposed to be by God's standards. That's why Gabriel hates them. They're so imperfect, yet this is his favorite creation. This is what you go over. This is what you choose over us. So
that stands up to my theory about why it was Jesus. Is that God created? No, I'm dead serious though. Is that then, you know, God created Jesus, and that was Jesus is his son. Jesus is the only child, and so the angels.
Oh, he was human.
Yeah, the angels felt like, what the F were your children, and that's where the switch happened. Boom.
I mean, I guess Vaughn could have been just.
I'm just picturing Vaughn like listening, like, maybe I didn't think about that when that happened, but that's what I was thinking subconsciously.
Yeah. You're welcome, Vaughn.
I mean, in my mind, it's closer to I guess Michael starts to see all the terrible things that humanity is doing to themselves, to each other, like World War II, the Armenian genocide, like just all of these terrible, terrible things. And so he's like, I need to protect the weak. I need to protect the people who can't protect themselves. Whereas Gabriel sees it and he's like, look at these terrible things. All of these humans should die.
Interesting.
Right.
Like he groups them all together. You people are horrible to each other. You all need to go. We need to start over from scratch. Yeah. Michael thinks that the good people are there and can be saved. Let's move forward because I really love this topic, but there's a lot to talk about in this episode.
Especially when you talked about like we need to start from scratch, and then I thought of like reproduction, and then I thought of something that happens between two characters.
Yes, Noma.
Yes,
Noma. Okay, so she walks into the shower room, that like crazy shower room.
Sure.
It's just like begging for people to have sex in because it's co-ed.
Yeah.
And also there's just like a lot of shower heads, and it's just helpful.
Okay.
But
continue.
Yes.
Wait.
We skipped over a scene.
No.
We're
talking
We'll get
about
there.
this.
We'll get there. This is important. Hashtag Noma butt.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. So I just want to talk about it. So she walks in and Alex is showering and he's lathering himself up, and she ignores the fact completely that he's covered in the tattoos. Ignores it.
We're all yelling like, "What's going? Did we forget about a scene?"
I knew that we didn't forget about a scene, and I shouted, "Is she blind?" And I think the greatest part is when she then goes, starts talking about the tattoos and goes, "I'm not blind."
Yeah,
and I
that's
was like,
great.
"Oh, okay."
Okay, good.
So she's
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
And that was a little like hint there.
Yeah.
And then she starts caressing them, and then they start making out. And what do you like to say? What do you like to say?
Boom! Sex!
Yeah. And it was beautiful. And I want to say that Kim, who plays Noma, beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
Grade A.
All right.
All
That's
right.
all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
No, it was a really hot sex scene.
Yeah.
It should have lasted longer.
We were like, whoa, sci-fi, nice.
Yeah.
Side boob.
Side boob.
Side boob, lots of butt.
Yeah.
For everybody, butt for everybody.
Yeah. Hashtag save side boob. Renew side boob. Sorry.
Renew side boob.
Yeah.
Renew Noma butt. What? Anyway. And then the big twist for Noma in this episode was when Gabriel, they're on top the tower. What is it?
Stratosphere.
Stratosphere. Which had we heard that before?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're at the stratosphere, and Noma just like walks in. She's like, "Lewis, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be up here."
Because he called both of them.
Yeah. But we're just like, why is she so chill? She's like, yeah, this is totally normal, except for why are you up here? And then Gabriel kicks her out of the
Gabriel / Lewis.
Gabriel as Lewis.
Yeah.
Well, they've seen the episode. They know what's going on.
I just want to make sure that we're clarifying.
Yeah.
And then she's falling really. No, she can die. I thought, oh, well, I guess Michael will
was
show
gonna
up
swoop in
and like save her.
Right.
Because I knew that she wasn't going to die.
Or like we'll learn that part of being the chosen one is you get angel wings or some craziness.
Also crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But then she just flies away. Angel.
I was just picturing just now, like in his desperate attempt to save her, he just reaches out and he's like, eviction. Like maybe like if he saves her soul and the body's just destroyed, he can like implant the soul somewhere else. But
No.
I know the butt's too good to
Yeah.
You gotta save that.
Gotta save that body.
You can't put that on a different body.
Yeah. So
and
she's
she's
an
even hotter now
angel.
that she has wings.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
Which brings into point why maybe she acted so cool and nonchalant about seeing them in the first place.
Oh,
in the tattoo. She had to
absolutely,
have known. She was watching him. Even Michael said,
Oh,
"I
well,
needed somebody to watch you."
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I mean, imagine that if that's your relationship, that you now have to, it now calls into question everything about like that relationship, because
Yeah.
she knew more about you than A, she told you, and B, than you did.
Well, we know that they had a relationship in the past, which means that she knowingly had this relationship with
Yes.
him. Oh, kills me.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so scandalous. It's like, can angels sleep with humans? But they can.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
obviously,
mean,
it's by
Michael-
Michael and Becca.
Michael doesn't like to just
Becca, the rest
limit
of
it
the
to
ladies,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, he has his little orgy pack, who's now shipped off to Helena.
Oh, the 4 cherries.
The 4 cherries. Yes, absolutely. But so while all the murder and stuff's going on, like Becca finds the bodies. Now she's going to be experimenting on the angels. Who knows what that will turn up for her?
And we learn that Noma is the only high ranger left in Vega.
Yes.
Because she's still hidden.
Yeah, well, and obviously because
Whoa.
what happened? But obviously because also you know, when they gave the message to Lewis to tell the other angels, don't try to jump over the fence because then they'll shoot you down. And then obviously it was Gabriel, so he didn't tell them.
Right.
And instead,
And they're all dead.
yes.
I guess I can bring it up when we get back to the whole eviction stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, we at the top of this episode, we got Alex training to do more
Yes,
evictions.
that was-
And that was... It's good that he's continuing. It's interesting that Michael is like helping him with this, since he seemed to think it was a futile...
Well, I think he's trying to train him and make him stronger. And the fact that he's able to have, 1, read the prayer, 2, got the prayer to somehow implant itself in his tattoos on him, so he now knows it for...
Yeah, he doesn't need the book anymore.
Yeah. And it's making him stronger as a chosen one, whatever that may mean. And it is something useful because if he can figure out how to do it, I think he's gotten further than he's ever... I think what he did to Clementine was further than anyone had ever done before.
Right.
Except for whoever that one guy was.
Well, I don't know. We don't know if that person
Apostle.
that apostle succeeded
That's true.
further.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that on his first try he was able to do it, he might be able to do even better. And I think that it's something useful because then they could save all the humans that are being possessed.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's that.
I thought it was very interesting that Michael pointed out
Yes.
in this episode that any possession that you've seen in human history where people claim they were possessed by demons
Yeah.
or
Yes.
Satan or... No, it was angels.
Well,
Right.
he pointed that.
Yeah, in the last episode.
Was that in the last episode?
That was in the
Yes.
last episode.
Doing a double. Okay.
But it's still true.
Or we can get to Wheel.
Yes, we are. But first, I want to jump to the end where Alex then tries the eviction again
On
because
Lewis.
on Lewis, and because Gabriel's like laughing at him, like an eviction, really?
What year is this?
Oh, but yeah. So he's just like he's just laughing. Yeah, what year is this that you think that this will work? And he just keeps going. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Eviction.
That's not what he said.
30-day
No,
notice.
I know.
Evict this vessel or something.
Yeah, and then he's
sanctify.
laughing.
What he actually said is
Sanctify.
sanctify this vessel. Sanctify this vessel. The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
That's
I
in
wish-
my.
The power of the guy that we never mentioned in the show compels you.
Yeah.
I wish that he had to say the whole thing. It like kind of
Yeah.
bums me out that he doesn't have to do this whole giant diatribe where
Yeah.
he's just like where basically he has to say a speech, and if he gets interrupted it fails. I want that. I
Yeah.
want that to be a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he succeeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kicks Gabriel out, and he's like, "Whoa,
Yeah. And then
that
Uriel,
dude's powerful."
and then Uriel's just like, well, then I guess he isn't the chosen one. And she's there, and we're all like, what? Like, what are you doing? I think she's playing them both.
Yeah.
I mean, she's clearly playing somebody. It stands to reason that she's out for some goal or gain that we have not figured out yet.
Yeah.
That we have not seen. She's playing. She wants something that we don't quite understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't even begin to guess what that could
Can't
be.
wait to
I
see
mean,
more.
ultimately, she wants God back.
Yes.
Right.
But how she's gonna go about that,
We
Yeah.
don't know.
who knows?
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. But so a whole other plot line in this episode, the wheels
Yeah.
are fighting a little bit. You might
A
say.
little bit.
Big Wheel has been like basically imprisoned.
Everybody thinks he has
quote, unquote,
ammonia.
pneumonia, and William is just like trying to force feed him soup, and he's like, no, screw you.
Yeah.
So he MacGyvers the thing,
The
lock-
lampshade.
the lampshade,
Yeah.
and picks a lock and escapes.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
Amazing, MacGyver.
And then this dude, I think his name is Lieutenant Halloman,
Yeah.
Yes.
is just
What's
there.
my name?
And we've seen him around before. I mean, he's kind of just been, all right, Heisenberg's. But basically, you know, he just basically says, you know, how much do you know? And he's like, I know a lot more than others. He's like, great. Well, you know, he's like, well, put down the shank and I'll help you.
Yeah. In what world does that answer mean anything?
Yeah.
know.
And then he winds up taking him down to the basement and finds out that he's been tricked because this guy's loyal to William, who always actually seemed to care or pay attention to him as an individual.
Nice.
And then we're faced with the whole reason why the episode is called Ouroboros.
So William gives him this big speech about the Ouroboros, and
You want to say Aurora Borealis so bad.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Okay.
I got it. I got it. But like basically how he has to become the snake.
Yeah.
If he wants to live, he has to give himself over to Gabriel's side.
And destroy himself.
Big Wheel's just like, you are nuts. And that's when William gives him a gun with
one bullet.
So he
and
could
releases the
he
lion.
could shoot his son and like take his revenge, or he has to kill his pet lion.
Yeah. Oh, lion.
And
Or
can I just say,
himself.
I know it's like a real lion, so they weren't gonna get like the lion like eyeing him completely.
Yeah.
The lion did not care about
Yeah,
it.
he's like, ooh, more leg room. So,
Oh, kitty.
but yeah, then that happens, and I just found it so interesting
I
that
mean, he had to live. Like Wheels, he's a survivor.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I just found it so interesting how much of a bond he had with this damn lion, because that's the thing that broke him, dude.
Way more than with William.
Way more. But I mean, he's just sitting there in the next scene, and he's actually just sipping on the soup that William's giving him, and he looks like he'd been crying for hours. His eyes all shiny and wet with tears, and I'm like, really? This is the thing. This is the thing.
I think it was also, I mean, just seeing what his son had become.
And what?
I mean, because there's that line where he's like, your mother would be ashamed of you.
And he's like, I know.
Yeah. So it's like having witnessed this transformation of this boy that you resented, and seeing that and knowing that you're part of that transformation.
Yeah.
And like as much as he may have resented him for like causing his wife's death and like all of that stuff, he was still a son.
For crying, being scared. Come on.
And made him shoot a lion.
Yeah.
Probably the last lion, let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the line anymore.
Yeah. I just also want to mention something that was really important, because I know that this, you know, it's getting close there to the end, but I do want to mention and point out how important it is that Claire wants to move up the wedding by a week. Or by
Yes.
next week. She wants to get married.
Yes, because as we saw, I believe it was a week
Yeah.
ago, as soon as they get married, she's basically blackmailed her dad into stepping down, and she wants control now.
Yeah.
She is ready to take over the
Yes.
city.
Yeah.
So let's with all those plans, let's plan out some of our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
So guys, quick round of predictions. Tauri.
My favorite, me first. I think that in the next episode we're gonna see less of Big Wheel because he's done his thing, but I'd like to see a lot more of this backstory between Gabriel and Michael. Also, I'd like to see more raging Michael because he is awesome. And we know that this episode was all about Gabriel kind of like trying to prod him into becoming the Flood again.
Yeah.
Same thing. I hope we see more of that. I also see I want to see if we're going to find out where Uriel plays a part in this and what she's up to. And I also stand by what my theory was in the last predictions episode, where by the end of the season, I wonder if Claire's going to die, and I wonder if that means William takes over. Now that we see that Big Wheel is completely just crippled and like done for now. So it's exciting.
I think Noma is going to become Alex's super sidekick now that she's an angel and she knows everything. And I'm really excited to see more of that.
And hashtag Noma Butt.
Yeah, hashtag renew Noma. And I think that the wedding is going to be next episode.
Red wedding.
End of next episode, and something big and tragic. Not red wedding, but something just as equally.
Yes, building off of that, I think that Noma is going to come back. There's going to be a lot of contention between her and Alex at first, where he's trying to figure out, like, his tattoos said, don't trust anybody close. Don't trust people close to you. He was just betrayed by a lover. And like basically a father figure is like potentially like a mass murderer.
Yeah.
So who can he trust? I think he's going to end up trusting Noma over Michael, and that is only going to cause all kinds of insanity for the whole of Vega ultimately. When Gabriel, I think he sees this as a good time to start moving in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
This was a very fun episode of Dominion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anton, for calling us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We got Anton Jeftha on the show. So much fun to have him on. So much going ahead. We have only 2 more episodes left in this season. Guys, hashtag renew Dominion.
Yeah.
Let's get this show a season 2. It was trending on Twitter tonight. You can make it happen.
Do it.
Tauri Miller, where can the people find you on Twitter?
First again. You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY. You can also catch me on other panels like the Legend of Korra panel and the Extant panel.
And
also Sword Art Online.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Liz Rishmawy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lizzie Mawy. That's LIZZYMAWY. You can also find me with Tauri here on the Sword Art Online and the Legend of Korra panel, and also the Musketeers with my lovely co-host Yael here.
The people can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find info about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir, as well as interviews with the cast of Dominion at Comic-Con. Also, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Take it away, Zach.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson. And also here at AfterBuzz on The Strain. If you want more Religify with me, you can catch me on The Leftovers. And if you want cooking, you can catch me on MasterChef.
Cooking.
Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.